Been a decade since Hurricane Katrina devastated Louisiana. It forced 1.5 million residents to evacuate and caused $100 billion in damages. WDEF News host Jamal Williams spoke with some now Chattanoogan's who were affected by the storm. More now from the archives.
10 years ago, 1.5 million people were displaced from their homes. Many with no home to go back to were forced to pick up and rebuild their lives elsewhere.
The decision to stay here in Chattanooga was almost a no-brainer because having small kids, pretty much babies at the time, 10 years ago, and having to struggle like some of my other fellow New Orleanians did in order to rebuild their lives just seemed to be a lot tougher than what I was willing to do and my wife and I were willing to do at that time.
Mike Adams and his family evacuated to Chattanooga before the hurricane and decided to stay. But he says it's still hard for him to wrap his head around it sometimes.
At this point, I sometimes still wake up coming to work, driving down Hickson Pike, and it's like, wow, I live in Chattanooga now.
New Orleans is a city filled with culture, and the rebuild process has not been a quick one. The city's current population is about 79% of the number who lived there in the years before Katrina. And while many of those displaced by the storm may never move back, New Orleans will always be home.
Always going to be my city, man. It's part of it's in my blood. It's part of my heart, and I will always be a New Orleanian.
As the recovery continues on the city that has music and food etched in its very fibers, I have no doubt that the city will le bon temps rouler. Let the good times roll. Reporting from Chattanooga, Jamal Williams, WDEF News 12.
The United Way of Greater Chattanooga